I've got to tell you, I'm really obsessed right now with Claude Code, and I'm going to give you a bit of an update of what I've been up to. So, um, this is CladeCade.com. So I've been building this out over the last 4 days, maybe, and yeah, it's already gone through a number of iterations, um, and as I'm kind of re-exploring game design and game development after well after a fairly long break, um, I thought what would be kind of cool. I'm trying to scratch my own itch with this. So yeah, I'm building out classic, kind of building, basically building the most basic games I can think of to learn and also teach Claude how to build games essentially. So this is kind of becoming like a bit of an additional library, I guess, and resource for when I'm building games with Claude. I can refer back to these building blocks to build other games on top of them. So and new versions of them. So that's the kind of idea behind this, and also learn. I never really went to game school. I did multimedia, and I did for my dissertation. I wrote a dissertation on game design narrative, and I did make a game in my final year, and it wasn't very good, if I'm honest with you. It was based on the game Castaway, well, the film Castaway at the time with Tom Hanks, and I thought that would make a really good game. But it turns out it's really hard to do that a game in that kind of time. I didn't have the time to do it, and I couldn't execute it well enough, and it was just a bit rubbish. I think I used like the Sierra engine. It's like a kind of similar to there was some sort of adventure game engine back then. I don't know if it still exists, but it kind of half worked. I could get the character moving around and whatever, but yeah, I never really made it. So I kind of gave up on making games after then. But I'm returning, so I thought what would be good was for me to, while I'm building out this whole this site and the games, is to build like a game school resource. So as I'm going along, I can kind of figure out, test the course and see what works, see what doesn't, what we need in there, what we don't, because things are changing, and we're using AI tools more and more now. So I want to rapidly build this out, and I want to build good games. I don't want to waste time building rubbish games. So a little bit of education, I think, does help. So yeah, I think also aspiring game designers, especially younger people coming into this, I think it's good to get some history of gaming and game development, and I think this is a good place to start. Start from the beginning, I say. I think it's very tempting to just jump in and go for something like Unreal Engine or Unity, and just go straight for those kind of massive engines. But I think it's important to learn, especially when you're starting again, learn the basics. Go through the basics, game design fundamentals, story, narrative, different game engines. Figuring out what works, and then you can build on those things. You can use those as building blocks. So that's the idea. I've got a devlog here which I'll be updating every day, or multiple times a day. And at the moment, this is kind of a half manually published thing with Claude, but it is based on the GitHub repository. But I want to make it like a nice front end for this. So yeah, I'm going to automate this. There's a lot of things I'm going to add to the site. I need to think about the community section, and also the big feature will be the actual game builder. So once I've built a number of games and built this basic site out, the idea is then to introduce some sort of game building tools, using AI, using Claude Code in the back end, or maybe Open Code or some other tools in the back end. So yeah, that's the way. That's what I'm working on, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So yep, I'll leave it right there. And so yeah, hopefully we'll fix. I've got some games to fix, so I need to fix some of these games that don't quite work. The only one I've got working so far is Through the Wall, and then when I refactored, it pretty much broke everything. So I have to go back and fix these things. Yeah, I'm making a lot of mistakes on the way. So one of the lessons I learned, actually, I'll let you know now, is I had like a monolithic. So I've never really built. I'm not a JavaScript developer. I'm a DevOps engineer, so I'm kind of figuring things out myself and learning as I go. I've built a lot of the back-end systems, so automated the pipelines. I know about that stuff. Things I don't really know about is how to structure a project in a good way. So, I just started building out like the game and like this thing, and then I had like this one massive monolithic JavaScript file, and Claude really struggled with that. And so I did like an analysis of that, a review, and basically it said, yeah, you need to break this whole thing up. But it got so big that basically when I refactored it just broke a whole load of things. So yeah, it's one of the things definitely lesson learned is make sure you're building with kind of best practice in mind, I guess, and use the review feature in Claude Code. So there's a thing called Super Claude. So as you're going, do take time to actually pause, do a review of where you're at, and then you can iterate and improve. I probably did too much in one go, and then I did a review, but that it did point out things and it did fix things, but I think it was then just too much in one go, and it did break some stuff. I'm now having to go back and fix those things. So yeah, do some coding, take a pause, raise a PR, also then review. Yeah, have those review points in if you're using Claude. So that's one lesson I'm learning. Yep, and that's it really for now. I'm going to carry on playing around with the Claude Code and building out this project. And so yeah, see how we go with it. Bye.